Hello everyone and welcome to this Moodle Academy webinar, Transforming Professional Development with Festive Themes. So I'm Mary Couch, Education Manager here at Moodle, and I'm joined today by Emilie Ringuet from Quebec in Canada. And in fact, Emilie won Best Presentation at the Global Moot in Mexico last year. And we've invited her here to Academy to present a longer version of that prize-winning presentation. So Emilie, who's also known as Duracell because of her great energy, is an educational and techno-pedagogical consultant at the Université du Québec à Rimouski, UQAR, which is in Canada. Trained as a geographer, she always knew that teaching and pedagogy would be at the heart of her career. And first a geography professor at Université de Hearst in Ontario, then a lecturer at UQAR, Emilie now combines her two passions. So that is developing and consolidating pedagogical and techno-pedagogical, so ed-tech expertise within her institution, and also promoting effective and promising teaching practices. So I'm very pleased to hand over now to Emilie. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing and hand over to Emilie to begin the presentation.
I'm really happy to be with you today. I just want to set everything and I will be good to go. And I'm happy to see a colleague, actually, Caroline and Jason. I didn't know you were there. The IT guy at our university. And Judith, I just saw you in the presentation. Yeah, I will talk about your presentation, Judith, actually, in my presentation, because it was really a good presentation at Mérida too. So I'm happy to be with you. I am a little bit stressed since English is not my first language. So I will do my best, and I hope you will learn a little bit more, or you will be inspired because I will be sharing two initiatives that we created to support our teachers. So I'm here to speak about the Festive Calendar that I presented in Mérida and the Holiday Learning Journey. That was our last project in last December. And I hope to inspire you with ideas and how to leverage Moodle to create a meaningful learning experience. So I just want to take a few moments to talk about my university. So the University of Quebec at Rimouski is located in Eastern Quebec in Canada, and we have two campuses. So and those campuses are separated by 300 kilometers. So there is one campus in Rimouski and the other one is in Lévis. And despite our geographic spread, we maintain a close-knit academic community. Our university serves about 7,000 students, of whom 75% are enrolled in undergraduate program. And finally, our university is part of Université du Québec network, which consists of 10 institutions providing access to a vast array of academic and research collaboration. I really want to take a moment to present you my wonderful team that work on the two projects that I will be presenting today. It's an amazing team, and I really appreciate working with my colleagues day to day, and they makes a real difference in my life. So you can see Caroline, the participant. So Caroline is just here. There is Aida, Geneviève, Stacy, Valérie, Pascal, et Cynthia. So it's a great team. And our team is spread across both campuses in our university. And the Teaching and Learning Center plays a crucial role in supporting teaching and learning. So what we do as a team, so we support, we promote, we improve, I hope, the quality of teaching. So, we provide pedagogical and techno-pedagogical support to all our teachers. So we have a shared email inbox where each team member is responsible for responding 1 day per week. So teachers just send us their questions and we reply within a very short time frame. Actually, worst case scenario, I think it will be by the end of the day. And at the beginning of each semester, we set up a training schedule featuring a range of sessions on both pedagogical and techno-pedagogical topics. And we also organize workshops to showcase best practices and new teaching methods. And we promote innovative strategies to improve both the teaching experience and student learning outcomes. So our ultimate goal is not just to support teachers, but to empower them to create more engaging, inclusive, and effective learning environment. But what we really do, honestly, let's face it, we are doing Moodle support. So a significant portion of our daily work, I would say about 75% of our support requests is related to Moodle. And over the year, it's funny because we've noticed that these requests tend to be follow pattern, like both in terms of category and timing through the semester. So at the beginning of the semester, teachers focus on setting up their courses, uploading syllabus, and organizing their Moodle. In late September, we shift to the assignment season along with the design of an online exam. And after the mid-semester break, we shift to grading assignments, adjusting exam question scores, and updating, of course, the gradebook. And at the end of semester, maybe I would say end of November, December, we are bombarded with gradebook related questions and last minute fixes for any issues that could arise. So through our support, we've noticed that very few teachers use Moodle to its full potential. In fact, the vast majority of them use Moodle only to upload their courses syllabus and the PowerPoint presentation that they are using each week. So, Okay, so unfortunately, here's what we often see, and I'm pretty sure many of you are familiar with the PDF graveyard, where teachers simply upload files one after another, just leaving the students to scroll down through static contents. This is quite still common those days, less than before, actually. But I just want to point out something is that the majority of teachers don't want to use Moodle this way. In fact, they just don't know how to use Moodle. And as our teaching and learning center is really new in our university, is less than 5 years, teachers don't naturally think of consulting us for helping them to use Moodle. Instead, they ask their colleague how to use Moodle, and the only maybe widely known feature is adding a file. So with patience and kindness, our job is to help them just break free from this passive approach and guide them in making better use of Moodle, not just to improve their own teaching experience, but more importantly, to boost the student learning. So basically, our job is just to get there from here to there. Through self-paced coaching, we guide just teacher in adopting a new mindset about Moodle and show them how to do a pedagogical use of Moodle. But this process really takes time. So it's not about making drastic changes overnight, but about building confidence step by step. And that's really a major point. So we just gently guide teachers to explore more engaging activities for their students. And we always respect their pace and comfort level. And this is really important. I build a relation with them. So as a pedagogical consultant, my role isn't to pull them forward or to pull them forward or to push them from behind. I have to walk with them hand in hand, step by step, and I'm there to offer support, encouragement, and practical solutions as they build their skills and confidence. And we have to be patient. So my boss often refers to the tie wrap theory. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what's a tie wrap. So once you click, you can go back. So as a teacher, when you try something new and it works, you don't want to go back. So we have to move forward with them one click at a time, even if a year can pass between two clicks. But eventually, there will be more clicks more often. And the most important thing, I think, is that Moodle is the entry point to pedagogy. So teachers come to us for Moodle, but eventually they come back to talk about pedagogy, how to engage their students, how to improve their teaching methods, how to rethink their assessments. And when that happens, it's honestly one of the best days of the year. So I really have, I think, the best job ever. And which brings us to the results of our focus group conducted by our service in fall 2024. So teachers said, I want to get involved with my students and make a difference while ensuring that my time, energy, and effort are well invested. So at the core of our work is a simple reality. Teachers care deeply about their students and they want them to succeed. However, and this is important, they also want their time, energy, and effort to be well spent. And this is why we must balance pedagogical impact with ease of implementation when we are proposing new strategies, new tools to the teachers. So this is where the RISE model comes in. Originally used in project management, we realized that the model was in perfect alignment with teachers' decision-making processes, even if they don't realize it. So from a teacher's perspective, the RISE model focuses on 4 key factors. So you have the reach, impact, confidence, and you divide everything by the effort. So for the reach, how many students will benefit from this new strategy, for these new tools that I will be using in my class? The impact, what positive changes or improvements will result? The confidence, how comfortable am I with using this new tool or method? And the most important one for everyone in the room, I'm pretty sure, the effort. How much time and resources will I need to invest? So is it worth it? Will the students enjoy it? Will they realize how much time I have invested in this new activity? So teachers just naturally ask themselves these questions, especially when adopting something new, a new approach, a new tool, a new course, a new design, whatever. So we set ourselves guidelines, and it's with these guidelines that we design our 2 professional development projects. So both initiatives were built to be simple and intuitive. So the journey need to be easy to navigate and the resources should be simple to implement. It has to be time efficient, so it has to be quick to explore with bite-sized, easily applicable resources that require minimal effort to implement. It has to be accessible and inclusive, and it was really important for us. The resources need to be available to all teachers regardless of their experience level. So that was really a major point. Optimize for impact. So the initiative were developed to focus on improving engagement and maximum pedagogical impact. And finally, the confidence. So the initiatives should encourage teachers to try new strategies in a supportive environment. So the Festive Calendar was our first initiative, and we launched that in December 2023. The calendar is designed as a fun and engaging way to support professional development. And the goal was provide one new teaching resource every day for the first 24 days of December. So that was definitely a huge, huge project. So here's the calendar. We carefully structured the calendar to align it with key academic dates. So as you can see, the week 1 was dedicated to presenting new pedagogical resources or new tools available at our university. So, for example, I remember we presented WooClap that was new at our university. And we also provide resources for students that teachers could just directly share with them. So it was like a gift for the students. So for example, we developed a poster on the Pomodoro technique, as well as a sheet to track the tomatoes. So it was quite interesting for at the end of the semester. The second week, you can see in orange, focus on assessment and feedback strategies. So for example, I think it was Caroline who did how to do numerical correction in Moodle. And the final week was dedicated to preparing for the upcoming semester. So, for example, we gave them strategies to do a icebreaker activity at the first course of their semester. And wherever you can see Christmas trees, it's just because we've included a special holiday touch, from holiday playlist to our best cookie recipes. Actually, we just give them a cookie book or even a personalized video from our rector. We made sure that the calendar had a festive and engaging feel. And just to let you know, because I will tell you that we had restriction dates. So at the December 21st, we just remove every restriction so people can just take a look at the resources, because actually it was a holiday. So how we build it, it was really important for us to use Moodle. So as we wanted to set example and show all the great things that Moodle can do, we created the entire calendar using activities and resources in Moodle. So we enrolled all teachers via MetaLink from our existing Moodle, where we just can give them pedagogical resources and everything. So we enrolled teachers, and the MetaLink, it was really to make sure that all the teachers will have access to the calendar. But we also allowed the entire community to enroll, since the course was also open for self-enrollment. And since the tile format was relatively new at our university, we chose to use it to showcase its full potential. We chose the tile format to present the resources in an organized and visually appealing manner, making it easy for users to navigate. And to keep the experience aligned with the calendar structure, we just used date restrictions to release content at the appropriate time, as if we were opening a real advent calendar with a new piece of chocolate every day. And finally, we enable completion tracking, but however, we allowed participants to mark the activity as completed themselves. So here we go. This is our festive calendar. So as you can see, just like an advent calendar filled with chocolate, it was important for us to mix up the days to have the same feeling to open a new box every day. Here's the view of one tile. So it was very simple for the design. Each type provide a brief description of the resource along with an easy to access content. And at the bottom, just direct links to the tools we use to create the resources. So you can see it's text and media zone with Fafa icon, and it's really a simple structure. And this approach ensures that participants could quickly engage with each day resource without feeling overwhelmed. And that point was really, really important. So it was crafted to be user-friendly, accessible, because we really want to reinforce the goal of providing resources that were both impactful and simple to implement. Let's talk about the results and the statistic of that first project. So you have here a summary. At that point, it was really our best project ever. We had 196 participants, which was definitely a record for us, because to give you an idea, our typical training session rarely exceed 35 participants. So we were really happy with that. And you can take a look at the number of visits. So we were really impressed with that. Actually, we surpassed 1,000 visits in a single day. That was really impressive. So this indicates that participants didn't just engage with the content once, but they came back repeatedly to explore and make use of the resources that we create. And we created 20 new resources. That was really challenging. You can see some comments at the bottom that we received. We were really, really, really happy with those comments. But something you can see on the graph, and what's even more rewarding for us, is we receive a second peak in consultations at the beginning of January. So when we came back after the holidays, we just take a look of our calendar, and we saw that teachers were using it to just prepare for the next semester. So for us, it was really incredibly satisfying to see that the resources had such lasting value and impact. So that was, I think, our best success. So after that, consideration in the next chapter. So it was definitely an incredible project. Other services adopted the calendar, extending its reach even further. At the end of the project, we were able to integrate the resource that we created into our existing Moodle portal. So that was really nice, because we really want to make sure that the content remain accessible after the December. Few key, using the course MetaLink for enrollment was a great decision. It's allowed us to reach all teachers directly through the news forum. And if we had relied solely on self-enrollment, the participation rate will not have been the same, definitely not. And the other good practice is using the news forum every Monday morning. It was really a good strategy. And it's always hard to know where we can trace the line. If we contact the teachers too much, they won't come. But if we're not contacting them, they won't know. It's always hard to decide where to put the line. So we decide to use the news forum once a week, so every Monday morning. And the number of visits increased significantly each time a new message was sent. So we were really happy it works. So this helped keep engagement high and reminded participants to check out the resource. Another important point is that our initiative was supported by our university management team. And I think that's really important when you want to try something new in your university, that having the support of the management team. And this support was incredible from the very beginning. And I can't forget the fun I had during turning the rector's video when he offered to wear his pajama pants for the video to make it even funnier. So that was really priceless. So a big thank you, François, for his great sense of humor. However, after everything, one thing became clear for us as a team. It was really too much work. So we didn't track the exact number of hours spent on the project, but definitely it was too high. It was way more than we anticipated. So we create 20 new resources. And I think we have, as a team, to remember that we are creating new resources through the year. So we will need to think about how we can reuse or repurpose these materials instead of creating entirely new content each year. So that was really an important point. And for the completion tracking, we activated, but we didn't set up the completion condition. As a result, it was difficult for us to accurately track the actual completion status of participants and generate comprehensive and accurate statistics. So it's something we changed with the new project. And in last October, we really want to try the Learning Map plugin for our new activity. And I was really happy because I didn't know that in the room I had the people who actually create the Learning Map plugin. Oh my God, I was really happy. So yeah, it's what we did actually. We just used the Learning Map plugin to build the holiday learning journey for the project of December 2024. So we were really excited. And two, we really want to apply the lesson learned from our first project. So let's move on the learning journey. So how we build it? We build the learning map with the same approach as last year, maintaining the same enrollment process and course settings. However, since this was a learning map, the content was designed differently. So each day, participants were guided to a dedicated page, only a page in Moodle, where we use the HTML Bootstrap editor plugin to craft interactive and engaging content. And to improve the learning experience, the visibility of each page was set to available but not shown on the course page to make sure that the participant will only see like the image of the learning journey. And finally, unlike last year, we impose completion condition to track participants' progress and to obtain better statistics. So here we go. This is the festive learning journey. We decided to use the landscape format image. It was very important to us to that the visual be fully visible on a single page. We didn't want user to scroll down to access different sections of the journey. And we create a small welcome message at the end. But after the second day, we had to add a second section, the one you can see at the right of the red flag, just because it wasn't clear to participants that they need to click on the first resource to access the second one. So we just correct some stuff like to be more clear in our journey. So here's one page of the learning journey. It was actually day 2, and I'm really happy to have Judith here in the room because I really enjoy her presentation in Merida. It was amazing, and I really to highlight her presentation. So I encourage you to check out her presentation on the YouTube. She showcased stunning example on how to use Learning Map plugin during her talk in Merida in last October, and it was truly impressive. So the day 2, I really want to promote the Learning Map activity and the presentation of Judith. So it's always the same kind of structure. It's always a page that I designed through HTML Bootstrap editor to just show teacher how they can use design in Moodle. Oops. So here, there's the calendar. It's quite different from the 2023 version. So as last year format was really exhausting, we redesigned this year project as a 12 days of Christmas kind of experience, just like the song. And because this time frame worked perfectly with the academic calendar as the semester end on December 16. And it's also allowed us to avoid creating content on the weekend and for the period between the end of semester until December 24th, as we did with the festive calendar. And by doing that, we cut the number of created resources in half, making the project much more manageable while maintaining its impact. Last year's project, though, had a clear structure with each week focusing on a specific theme. We tried to do that, but didn't work. While we initially wanted to keep the same approach, we had to adapt our strategy to keep teachers engaged through the journey. So you can see that we specifically added a block on AI at the beginning of the second week. Here's a stat. We successfully increased the total number of visitors, surpassing 200 participants. However, I won't say only, because it's a lot of teachers, 146, but over all the visitor or the participants, 146 teachers accesses at least one resource. And we know that because by setting up the completion condition, we were able to refine our statistics. And through the learning journey, we record over 2,000 visits, demonstrating strong engagement with the project. Now I want to talk about the graph. So if you take a look on the graph on the left, the orange one, we observe a decline in engagement during the first week, which led us to introduce a brand new AI decision-making guide for assessment at the beginning of the second week, so on day 6. And to access the guide, teachers first had to review the resources from day 1 to day 5 before accessing to the guide on day 6. So as you can see, the impact was clear, and this results in our highest traffic day. So that was a good move. The graph on the right, in the blue one, illustrates the percentage increase in resource consultation from day 1 to 5. So before sending the message on day 6 to say, hi, we have a brand new guide, I just take a look at the stats for the consultation for each resource between day 1 and day 5. Then I send the message through the news forum, and then I wait and take back the stat at the end of the day. So we saw during the day an increase on consultation of 30% for the resource of day 1 to an impressive 350% increase for the resource on day 5. So implementing the AI guide on day 6 proved to be an effective strategy for increasing teacher engagement. However, how you can see, it is clear that engagement tends to decrease over the course of a week and overall through the festive learning journey. And some nice comments that we receive by mail. So we are happy to see that people are appreciating our resources. So consideration and next chapters, because we will have something new in November. We don't know what, but we will have something. So the learning journey was visually engaging, and we successfully highlighted many of the resources we had created as a team through the year. So we were really happy about that. So in each page, there are several links led teacher to our existing Moodle, allowing them to explore its features and pedagogical resources. However, the workload was still quite significant. In fact, I think no matter the project, the bottleneck effect at the end will always be there. And after all, I was preparing this presentation until the very last minute today. So I think it always be the same thing, no matter what the project is small or really big, we'll have the same bottleneck effect at the end. When we will say, oh my God, it was really a lot of work. Another interesting point is that I always wanted to experiment HTML-based customization, and I truly enjoyed the process with surprisingly little frustration. It was really a nice experimentation for me, but honestly, I don't think it will be for the teachers. I think if you are a pedagogical consultant, or if you build something to share and you have time, it's really nice to customize through HTML. But considering our teacher in our university, I don't think it will be for them, maybe for some few of them, but it was really a nice experience to experiment for us. Using key resources seems to be the way forward to maintain engagement through the project. So we did something similar for the last week. We just carefully selected the resource to increase engagement through the learning journey. And looking ahead, we need to reassess our use of the learning map and explore other options, I think, to increase engagement. In fact, we didn't have time to explore all the potential and all the option that the learning map plugin offers. So maybe the solution isn't it in enforcing completion condition. There might be other more effective strategies to keep participants engaged through the project. So we just have to think about it. But definitely the learning plugin map is amazing, and we will still use it in the future, but we will have to take the time to explore all the options that we have just to make sure that it will be as fun and engaging for the teachers. Let's get back a few minutes on the RISE model. So I really believe the success of our two projects is largely due to our commitment to stick to the RISE principles, both in planning and execution. So we successfully engage a large number of teachers. Honestly, for our university, it's really impressive how many participants we have compared to our usually training sessions. So we are really happy with that. And I think the Festive team is adding a touch of magic in the projects. The impact on teachers' professional development was significant. These projects certainly helped facilitate the integration of technology into teaching and assessment. The confidence, it's amazing. With simple, accessible resources, teachers were able to gain confidence in using Moodle and to explore new pedagogical approaches. And that's really, I think, my best part when I see a teacher who is happy to try something new and you just come back weeks later to tell me, oh my God, that was amazing. Do you have something else to propose? That's amazing to see how they can just shine more in front of the class and have a better relation, in fact, with their students. So yeah, I really like that point. And the effort, because the most importantly, it's the effort required to achieve meaningful results for them was minimal. So teachers were more willing to experiment because the time invested versus the benefit gained really struck the perfect cost-benefit balance. And I think, yeah, that was the success of our project. 2025, what we will do next year? Excellent question. I don't know. I don't really know, but I always wanted to explore the use of badges and gamification, so maybe that could be an option. I am looking for the best plugins to gamify the course or hide objects in Moodle. I've heard about the Level Up, XP gamification, and the Stash plugins, but if you have any free and functional option, I will be curious to know them. Just drop everything in the chat because it's something I don't know well yet. So I'm really interested in testing them. And an escape room. I attended the Moodle francophone in Caen, in France, in 2022, where I had the opportunity to experiment an escape game in Moodle based on the Stranger Things theme, and it was absolutely amazing. So since then, I really want to try something similar. However, it's a project that requires a lot of time for reflection and planning, but one day I will make it happen. I don't know if it will be in 2025, but one day. So same thing, if you have any ideas for me, I will be really happy to hear them. So let's talk about the gift, because I think Christmas is fun even in March. So I've set myself the goal of sharing the project and resources we create, even if it's a great amount of work. I truly believe that sharing inspires, and that's a fundamental key to great successes. So by clicking the link or scanning the QR code, you will automatically download a zip file that contains both the 2023 and 2024 projects, as well as French and English version of each project. In 2023 version, we've removed all the resources specific to our university context, so you won't have 24 or 20 resources. I think you will have between 8 and 10, but it's fully translated and it's just ready to use in your own institution. In the 2024 version, we decided to keep everything, even though the context is specific to our organization. Therefore, the AI guide and some links will be in French. It was too hard and too complex to translate, so we leave everything there. All the other stuff will be translated in English, so feel free to translate the guide or use it like you want. And I really have to thank my colleague Caroline, who is here today, who really helped me with all the translation of the project. Honestly, without her, it was not possible because, as you can hear, English is not my first language, and Caroline did her studies in English. So, merci infiniment du fond du cœur. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation, that you will have some great ideas for the upcoming fall, which will arrive sooner than you think, I guarantee it. So feel free to contact me for any information. And just to let you know that I will be at Moodle Canada in Montreal in May, where I will present a shorter version of this webinar. And I will be in Edinburgh next September. So I hope to see you there. So come see me and say hi. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was so interesting. And in fact, you answered the questions which I was going to ask as you were going along, which is always good. I was going to ask, what are your next plans? You know, you've explained your next plans. And thank you for the link to have your resources, which is an excellent gift, pre-Christmas gift as well. If anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. I just had one observation and one question while people are asking about your presentation. My first point is I was very much in agreement when you said that you were grateful for management support. And I found that the organizations which succeed the most with Moodle or with initiatives are the ones where you get the support up high from the leadership team, the management team. So I can relate to that very much. Also, I wanted to ask you, how does all of this work if your students or teachers are accessing it on a smartphone, a mobile? Does it work with that as well, with the mobile view, or do they have to access it on the desktop?
Yeah, I think it's quite responsive when they are on cell phone or tablet. It's a good point, but in fact, we don't really know if teachers, definitely students don't really have access to that. So I'm pretty sure teachers will use it more on their laptop. Yeah. But we always make some tests to see the responsiveness.
Responsive, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we have some pictures sent about the Learning Map plugin at Moodle Moot Global.
And the other thing, because I talk about the management team, but another important point that I didn't mention here, and that's crucial, it's the pedagogical side and the TI. I don't know how to say that actually in English. TI guide, Jason, aide-moi. C'est quoi le technologie?
You mean IT? You mean IT, information?
IT. Okay.
It's like AI. It's just the other way around. Everything.
Yeah, IT. Sorry. So the other thing is the pedagogical side and IT side are working together. Yeah. And that's really important to have both sides in a project or in an institution, because the Moodle or it's the IT part who is developing the Moodle, but it's developed to the pedagogical needs. So both have to work together if we want a great success in Moodle. And in our university, it's our biggest force.
Strength, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good point too as well. Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions, or shall we move to the next slide? We have some thank yous. It was very well received, and I'm sure we'll get even more people watching the recording as well. If you are wondering, the presentation will be made available, as well as the free gifts which we have, and the recording itself will also be made available probably sometime early next week. Sebastian is saying lessons are a great gamify too. If you can get your head around the complication of lessons, yes, indeed. In fact, we had a webinar in French last year on lessons, as a matter of fact, and using lessons for that kind of thing. Okay, could you please move to the next slide then? So thank you everyone for coming, and we're always grateful to have our guest presenters and our participants in Moodle Academy webinars. So if you could get involved and help us to grow Moodle Academy, you have various ways. We have a Get Involved course. It's linked to on the front page. Please suggest topics to be covered in future webinars and courses. Or perhaps you might like to volunteer yourself to contribute, to present a webinar, or to help co-create a course on Moodle Academy and share your expertise. Again, you can do that by volunteering in our Get Involved course. And something very close to my heart, which is that we like all our courses to be translated into as many languages as possible. And we have a course called Translate Moodle Academy. And if your native language is not English, but you are familiar with English, then why not take this course and then help us to translate the courses in Moodle Academy to make them more inclusive for other users. And the next slide, please, Emilie. Okay, now badges. We use badges. You mentioned the badges, Emilie. We use badges in Moodle Academy if you complete a course. And please tell other people about our webinars, the webinars that are advertised on the front page, or we have a monthly newsletter. And if you are an experienced educator or an experienced Moodle admin, look at Moodle qualifications. So we have a qualification program for educators, Moodle Educator Qualification. We have a qualification program for, again, experienced admins, Moodle Admin Qualification. It's not coming in 2025. It is here now. It's already launched. And if you go to Moodle Academy, you can take a quiz either to see if you're ready for the MEQ, or if you're an administrator and you're ready for the MAQ, and take it from there. So thank you very much, everyone, and especially un grand merci à Emilie for the very, very interesting presentation.